I've always been naturally drawn to music in my everyday life, so it's not too surprising that rhythm games have a very special place in my heart. I've played all sorts of rhythm games over the years, and for the longest time my favorite was School Idol Festival. But towards the end of high school, I found myself playing it less and less, and it might have been due to the fact that I was strictly an iPad player, which severely limited the times when I could actually sit down and play. But also because I just wasn't really a part of the Love Live fandom anymore. So, when I got an ad on TikTok for a mobile rhythm game that was Vocaloid based, I was excited to give it a try and hopefully reignite the flames of my rhythm game addiction. Little did I know that I would love this game so much that I hardly ever touch any other rhythm games anymore. At least, not any other mobile rhythm games. And in this video, I mostly want to talk about how the game works and pretty much just gush about why I love it so much. So here we go. The game starts off with like a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon-esque personality quiz to help you pick a main group to start off with, except the answers don't really matter since you can just choose whichever group you want at the end. But the basic premise is that there are these high schoolers who all have dreams of being singers, and their wishes sort of like manifest into these virtual fictional worlds, I guess? Through these worlds, the characters are able to meet the Vocaloids that want to help them make their dreams a reality, and I swear it actually makes more sense when you play the game, but by playing the opening chapter of each story, you learn about the 5 main groups. Leonid, More Jump, Vivid Bad Squad, Wonderland's Showtime, and Night Court at 25 o'clock? 25 a.m.? I low-key don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced, so I just call them Night Court. The division of fans for each group varies depending on who you talk to in the community, but for the most part, Night Court and Wonderland's Showtime seem to be the most popular overall. The game doesn't really have any way of showing which group or character is the most popular, but every player's statistics on their profile card shows which characters have the highest character rank and challenge levels, and yeah, it pretty much speaks for itself. Before I keep going, I have to mention that while I was editing this script, the Japanese servers had a massive 3rd anniversary update that totally overhauled the UIs, menus, gameplay screens, and added more note types, and even gave all the characters a redesign. And let me just say that the Vivid Bad Squad fans won, because look at this glow up. Oh my god. Anyways, I'll cut in occasionally with information about the 3rd anniversary update, but otherwise, if you notice some clips look different, it's because I recorded them on the Japanese server. And speaking of the Japanese server, here are some of my favorite general changes that came with the update. First of all, the title screen music will change depending on which group leader is featured, which is so fucking cool. I mean, just listen to this. This is the original music. And here are the different variations of the title screen. The new update also changed the tune that plays in the background of the map, and I love it. The original is still cute, but God, I cannot wait to get this update on international servers. There's also a huge update to the song selection screen. Now, the song art is easier to see, and the currently selected song preview keeps playing even if you scroll away to look through the roster. And considering most of my footage looks like this, I'd say this is an absolute win. Back to the characters though. The main characters are all voiced by real people with different Vocaloids joining them for their songs, and the reason why the characters are so important is because they're the main source of the gacha system. Yeah, I know, another gacha game, but you don't need to buy into the gacha aspect to have a good time. I don't really care much for placing high in event tiers, so I just pull on the gacha whenever my favorite characters are on there and treat it more like an aesthetics first system where having good cards definitely helps get high scores, but it's not required to play the game. Also, some cards come with special outfits that you can put on characters, and I don't really care about these at all and didn't realize how silly some of these music videos look when the character outfits don't match the song at all, so just try to ignore that. For people who do want to use the gacha mechanics though, it's pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's harder to grind out the premium currency in this game compared to other gachas I've played, and people who want a lot of limited cards will probably have to spend obscene amounts of money because it's kind of expensive to perform a 10 pull. Personally, I haven't had many issues since I only really pull for cards a few times a year, plus the international servers are 1 year behind the Japanese servers when it comes to events and song releases, so I have the added advantage of being able to plan out which cards I want to pull for about a year in advance. A few months ago, I got this gorgeous card of my favorite character that I had been saving up for since last summer, and just look at her, she's so pretty in her little sundress and her hat and the stars in her hair. Okay, sorry, I just need to show her off. Let's keep going. Okay, if you had to pick the part of a rhythm game that is the most important, what would you say? The music? The aesthetics? The UI? Trick question because it's the Beatmaps. Colorful Stage has a lot of engaging and addictive beatmaps, and the way they chose to implement the rhythm aspect I think really sets them apart from other mobile rhythm games. Sekai has a pretty simple horizontal setup, but they don't let that stop them from getting creative with their beatmaps. For a lot of their songs, they aren't afraid to think outside the box and make some really cool shapes and words to match the song that's being played, and it's so much fun to catch all of the little Easter eggs in the different songs. Roki has a section where the notes will spell out ROKI, Senbon Sakura, which translates to 1,000 cherry blossoms, has a full combo of exactly 1,000 notes on expert mode. Miku's famous scream in Love Me, Love Me, Love Me is turned into a whole note with these super cool, sharp, chaotic edges. And in Tokugawa Cup Noodle Prohibition, the notes that play when Kaito is like slurping his ramen are given this wavy, noodle-like shape. And these are just a few examples of how creative this game can get with its beatmaps, but trust me, there are many, many more. I know I said earlier that having good beatmaps is the most important part of a rhythm game, but I actually kind of lied because if a game is too easy or too hard, it doesn't matter how good the beatmaps are. In my opinion, rhythm games need to have a good balance of creative beatmaps and challenging levels. They can't be so easy that I can beat the hardest levels with barely any effort, but also not so hard that it makes me want to bash my head into a wall. The only game I didn't like because I thought it was too hard was Sayonara Wild Hearts. I played through the whole game, and although the music is really good, I found myself getting insanely frustrated just trying to make it through the levels. Maybe it was because I was using PC controls, but by the end of the game, I was just powering through it so I could uninstall it to make space for something else. The thing that frustrated me the most is this one mechanic that activates if you keep dying on the same section enough times. The game will say, hey, I noticed you're doing a job right now. Want me to skip this part so you can keep going? And like, it just made me so bad. In this clip, I only failed like 3 times before the game asked if I wanted to skip. Like, come on, at least let me try to get it on my own. Don't treat me like a child. I'm not gonna rage quit your game after dying a few times. Whatever. Luckily, Sekai has an extensive roster of songs, each with multiple difficulties to choose from, which means that there's a really good variety in difficulties for all skill levels. Plus, one thing I've noticed about Sekai that not many other gacha-style rhythm games have is a penalty on hold notes. In Sekai, you need to tap a hold note on time, but you also need to release the hold notes on time. A lot of other games don't have penalties for holding down notes past their length, so you can just hold the note down and release anytime you want after the note is finished. But for Sekai, you have to release the note on time. This adds yet another layer of difficulty to the game when combined with the changes in note sizes, as well as flick notes, and the newly added trace notes, which are just easier versions of the hold notes since there's no penalty for releasing on time, but since I'm not used to seeing them on Beatmaps just yet, my brain will have a 404 error in the middle of a song. There's also a whole new difficulty that was added to some songs called Append, which is a mode with beatmaps that require 3 or more fingers to tap on the notes throughout the songs. And trying to do this on my phone was hard as f***, and on my first try I failed the song almost immediately, but on my second try I made it further, and honestly I love what they're doing here. I got to see this super cool moment where the hold notes disappear one by one, which I got to enjoy for all of 2 seconds before I failed the map again. But yeah, huge fan of Append mode. I'll definitely be trying it out on a tablet. Okay, this might sound weird, but hear me out. One of my favorite things about Sekai is the note sounds. As in, the sound effect that plays when you tap a note. I don't know what it is about rhythm games, but if the note sounds don't sound good, I can't keep playing. I just can't. The amount of times I've wanted to get into a game only to hate the note sound effects is insane. I'm not sure if this is just a me thing, but I think the Sekai note sounds are much more pleasant and sometimes even add more to the overall experience. The basic notes sound different to the red flick notes, which sound different from the gold notes, which are different to the gold flick notes, whatever, you get the point. And the developers know how to use these different sound effects to their advantage. There's something so satisfying about tapping the gold notes, and a lot of beatmaps have them cleverly placed on beats that benefit from the added emphasis. In Machine Gun Poem Doll, the double gold notes land right when the piano in the background is hitting some really strong chords, and it sounds so good. One of the best parts about Colorful Stage that I feel really sets it apart is its roster of songs. The game is perfect for Vocaloid fans because they're always adding popular songs to the game, but also because this game commissions composers to make songs specifically for the game, and these songs rip. They're so good. If you're not familiar with many Vocaloid songs, here are some examples of some famous songs that existed before the game. And here are some of my personal favorite commissioned songs. Plus, because this game makes real-life covers of their songs with their cast of characters, I'll find myself falling in love with multiple versions of the same songs. This can be a double-edged sword though, because while there are songs that I think sound so much better with real singers like Cutlery, Karakuri Pierrot, and Miracle Painting, There are definitely songs that I think sound worse with real singers, like Lower One's Eyes, Kagero Days, and Hibana Reloaded. And this is due to the fact that humans usually can't mimic the unique vocal capabilities of the virtual singers, which some composers use to their advantage to make more unique and memorable songs. In my experience, I found that the Vocaloids this happens to the most are Flower and Miku. Flower has such a unique voice that I think it's hard for real people to mimic the way she sounds. And Miku is also known to have some really unique vocal moments to her songs where she's either singing super fast or belting out some crazy high notes, which can make it hard for real singers to cover her songs. But for the covers I do enjoy, every once in a while one of the characters who sings it fits the song so well that I also want a solo version of the song, and the developers must have known people would ask for solo or duo covers because some songs have those covers available in the song store. Not every song has covers, notably the songs that are pretty iconic like The Disappearance of Hatsune Miku, Melt, or anything by Wawaka are Vocaloid exclusive. Aside from those though, most story-related songs or commissioned songs will have covers with only one or two characters singing, and it's perfect for those times that a song fits one particular voice really well. Here are two examples of solos that I personally really enjoy. The last thing I wanted to mention here is that, to my knowledge, Colorful Stage has the most Kagero Project songs out of any Miku-related games, which I absolutely adore. Kagero Project is a series of Vocaloid songs that tell a story complete with a whole cast of characters and lore, and they even made an anime based on the manga and light novels called Mekaku City Actors. Kagero Project is what initially got me into the Vocaloid genre way back in the day, and not many people in the West seem to know about it, so I'm super happy that Sekai is including more than just one of the songs. The Japanese servers are currently boasting a whopping 4 Kagero Project songs, while the international servers still have 3 at the moment, but I'm hopeful that more will get added in the future. Before I end this video, I wanted to throw in some other rhythm game recommendations for people who might not like mobile games all that much. So if you're a PC gamer, I'd highly recommend Muse Dash. The art style is cute, they have a ton of cool songs, and a good difficulty distribution. The game itself is like $3 on Steam, but it only offers a limited selection of songs unless you get the DLC. The DLC unlocks all current and future songs, and the devs are constantly updating, so it's a really great deal if you find yourself loving the game. Coincidentally, they just recently had a collaboration with Hatsune Miku for her anniversary, which fits in perfectly with the theme of today's video. Here's a quick look at some of my favorite songs, along with some gameplay. If you have a Nintendo Switch, I'd recommend checking out Project Diva Megamix. If you're more of a Vocaloid fan, then Megamix will be right up your alley with lots of difficulties to choose from, tons of DLC songs, and super fun gameplay. In my opinion, no one is really doing it like the Project Diva series. Their beatmap style of having the buttons appear on the screen with their little countdown timers is iconic and adds another level of difficulty because you're constantly forced to keep an eye out for where the next note could be. I also love that the songs all play their respective music videos in the background, and that you can change the costumes and even the singers of pretty much any song you want. Here's a quick taste of a few of my favorite maps in Megamix. you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to leave any rhythm game recommendations in the comments if you have any favorites that you think I should try. I'd also love to see which Sekai songs you guys think sound better or worse with the real life singers, so drop those down below too. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you all have a wonderful day or night. See you next time!